In today's video, I want to talk about 2023 St. John Bosco quarterback Pierce Clarkson, one of the Ducks' recent visitors for this past weekend when Oregon faced Arizona and came away with a 41-19 win. Clarkson is one of the Ducks' biggest targets early on here in the class of 2023, which currently doesn't have any commitments, verbal commitments, that is. So I was able to talk to Clarkson after his trip. Wanted to hop on here, kind of break down what he was telling me, get some of the inside information about where he stands with Oregon, as well as some of the other teams involved with his recruitment here. So starting off, who were some of the players that he got to hang out with? During his visit after that game, he got to spend some time with quarterback Robbie Ashford, an Alabama native here at Oregon, also plays baseball. Chris Hudson and Suave Pody, two former St. John Bosco Braves. Hudson has been flashing this season so far, and Suave Pody is a guy who we're hearing more and more about here as the Ducks work their way through the 2021 season. So always great to be able to connect with some guys that were in his shoes. You know, we're at Bosco, one of the top premier programs in the country, and now they're here in Oregon, so they can tell him what it's like. And that's why I think that this relationship with Robbie Ashford is what's really interesting to me, because it's great to have a relationship with someone who's playing your position, can tell you what it's like here in Eugene, going through the meetings, learning the playbook. Maybe not any specifics right now, but what kind of offense that they're really running under Joe Moorhead, what the relationships are like with the coaches, how he's going to be taken care of. And where I think it really gets interesting with Ashford is that these two actually worked out together, during the pandemic. Before the season started, Ashford came down to the Los Angeles area at St. John Bosco and was doing some workouts with Clarkson. So those two sound like they have a pretty strong relationship early on. That's definitely a plus for the Ducks, I would think. And he's starting to build that relationship with Joe Moorhead, Clarkson is, and he feels like he really sees himself fitting into this offense. A quotation that he shared with me about Coach Moorhead and the offense that they have at Oregon. Here it is. I love what Coach Moorhead has. He has a great offense. Personally, I feel like it fits my skill set to a T really well. You have some read option, play action, some drop game. That's kind of where my game's at. I like to be able to execute at all phases of the game. So pretty positive remarks there about the Oregon offense. I think a lot of people, should be encouraged hearing this. A lot of fans have been pretty critical of the Oregon offense. Very hot and cold so far this season. Had that big play to Jalen Redd to start the game, kind of sputtered a little bit, but it's definitely good to hear that Clarkson is liking what he's seeing so far. So that's kind of what we're hearing about the Ducks so far as players go, and what he's liking here. I know the energy was a really, really big thing that stood out to him. The student section was going crazy. He was that was one of the biggest things that stood out to him during the visit, was the energy, kind of around the program and the team. So much so that he's actually already planning to come back to Eugene. He's working on planning out that trip. Tells me that he's planning to try to come back out to Eugene for the Oregon State game, which is scheduled for, I believe, November 27th, right after Thanksgiving, late in November. So that was the Oregon visit. But as you would expect, the Ducks are not the only player in contention here for one of the top quarterbacks in the country, one of the top players in California in 23. The hometown UCLA Bruins are heavily involved here early. They got a visit during the summer, and Clarkson has a good relationship with quarterbacks coach Ryan Gunderson over there in Westwood. So they're working on building that relationship. He's feeling pretty good about that. And he's been impressed by how Chip Kelly has turned that program around. You look at the resume so far, they were able to beat LSU rather, knocking off the Tigers at home. That really, I think, put them on the national radar. One of only two teams in the Pac-12 that are currently ranked as it stands. So that's definitely big. Clarkson is talking about how he sees Kelly turning that program around. The culture that is being built right now in Westwood is definitely something that is impressive to hear to him. It's always interesting with these Bosco guys, modern day, what have you. There's just so many good schools out there in LA that, UCLA has kind of been, I feel like, a little bit of an afterthought. So many people kind of just assume that these Bosco guys, these modern day guys, are going to go to SC. SC's, definitely not looking like they're on the surest of footing right now. And I asked Clarkson, is it kind of weird to see that UCLA is the better LA school right now? And he was saying, it's not really weird, but at the end of the day, I'm a football guy. So, maybe he's not paying attention to the same kind of things that fans are, or that people who aren't the athletes themselves are paying attention to. So that was kind of a cool tidbit to throw into there. Just a football guy, and he's going to, take, the best situation for him is kind of what I would wager. Most people do. They just take a step back, and, Pierce is a very, smart young man, and he's going to make the decision that's best for him. He doesn't feel like a decision is necessarily on the horizon right now, but he does understand the importance of committing early because you want to, get into your program and help build a special class and, be someone that can be a peer recruiter with some of the top talent in the country. So he didn't say he's, super close with anything as far as a decision, but looking forward, he's got trips scheduled to Arizona State in early October and Louisville in November. So those are looking pretty solid right now. And then some possible trips that he's interested in taking are Arizona and Virginia Tech. He's already been to Louisville earlier this summer, so Cardinals are in a good position there. As far as his junior season so far at Bosco, he's 26 of 51 for 491 yards and 8 touchdowns, but he could also get it done with his feet. He's definitely a dual threat guy. 17 carries for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. St. John Bosco currently ranks number 3 nationally by Max Preps. Got a huge matchup with the Mater Dei Monarchs, the number 1 team in the country, this Friday. It sold out almost instantly once tickets went on sale. So that's a game that I'm sure a lot of people who are involved with the recruiting scene are going to want to go see if they're out there in the LA area. So that's the update that we have here with this video. We have a couple other big stories. You can find this story with all the quotations on ducksdigest.com. The Ducks hosted 3 2023 quarterbacks this past weekend. I talked to all of them. You can find more stories with Jaden Rashada and Javance. I don't want to butcher his name, but let me see if I can find it. Javance Jupuata Johnson. He's another talented 2023 quarterback from the Southern California area. Wears number 8 because of Marcus Mariota. So certainly an interesting story to follow there. Head on over to ducksdigest.com to check that one out. Kindly ask that you support the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us keep going, doing our thing here at Ducks Digest, bringing you the Oregon content that you love. Follow me on Taurus at that user. Follow me on Twitter at that username on your screen there, mtaurussports, and head on over to ducksdigest.com for the latest in Oregon football and other Oregon sports. And we'll see you in the next one.